How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Last time we had the coolest little mini game in the game ever. We played Risk, which brought back a lot of memories. So I legitimately realized after I recorded the video and thought about it, I was like, I think the last time I played Risk was in college. That wasn't that long ago, but like that's years ago, and that's really sad to me. The toughest thing, though, is about getting a group of people together that can make it fun. I think you need at least 3, and that's still not as good as it can be. But we had a good time, though I do have to make a brief mention. Last time, I was really disappointed because I felt like I made the wrong choice. Now, 2 things about that decision, that saying. Number 1, you guys are absolutely right. I'm freaking out. The whole point of playing the game is to play it like me. And I said why I chose what I do, and I did it. I shouldn't regret that. I'm supposed to find the route that makes the most sense to me, and so we're gonna go for that. But I can, and then I can replay it later and stuff. However, at the same time, I think that there was a bit going on. Like I was kind of tired that day, and just actually after I finished making the video, I had to go and do some recharging because I was just really stressed for some reason. Nothing to do with the channel. This usually helps me de-stress, but I think I kind of blew that out of proportion. So I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna be a lot more relaxed about it because you're like I said, you're absolutely right. My decisions are my own. I should just make them and see what happens. But yeah, so we had some fun with there. I like the idea of student council so far. It kind of resonates with me personally. But we will have to see who else we get to meet and what other like paths we can consider, and see how we go. So last time we left off, we had a coincidental tea time with Lily, who is blind but serves a masterful cup of tea. She's very tall, very pretty, and very succinct, very formal. And she's escorted us to the library. And we've just let her in, being very gentlemanly, and opened the door for her, which is also fair, considering it's just polite in every single regard. Even if she wasn't blind, like just open the door for people sometimes is nice. Anyway, so we're gonna go to the library and we'll see who's running the show and maybe see what kind of books we're gonna read. So let's jump right back into it and see how we can do. To the left is a wooden library counter, with the library proper being on the right. It easily dwarfs my old school's library, with a distinct smell of old books giving the place an almost old world air. I love that. I love the there is a weird smell about books, and it's weird to say that, but it's so true. Especially like when you go into a library full of older books, it's like there's just something about it. It's cool. There don't seem to be a lot of students here. Considering the time, it isn't a big surprise. Everybody's probably either in the school grounds or the dorms. Oh great, I forgot I had to do all the voices. How did I forget that? Alright. Yuko, are you here? She says it to the thin air, since the librarian doesn't seem to be present, and of course Lily can't see this. What's unexpected is that this draws a reaction. Oh, something from under the counter thuds against it, followed by a quiet wail. Aww. Aww. I don't know. Whoa, okay, no. The origin, apparently the librarian, quickly crawls out and bounces up to extreme rigid attention. Hi, Lily. How can I help you? Her voice is strained and in a failed attempt to sound casual. She's rubbing the back of her head. Good afternoon. What happened just now? I heard a strange sound. It's nothing. I just hit my head. I see. You see, I dropped an eraser at my desk while I was looking for a pencil job, and I looked for both of them. You came and surprised me. Are you alright? I'm sorry, I couldn't know. It's okay, it's okay. Sorry for making you worry. This is nothing. I've had worse happen to me. She's quick to reverse Lily's apology, almost frantically trying to push aside the possibility that she could be in any way inconvenienced by bashing her head on the counter. Yes, worse things have happened. The girl fidgets with her fingers as Lily doesn't seem to drop her concerned expression, and then she shuffles some papers around the counter for no reason. A little shorter than Lily, replete with glasses, freckles, and a very troubled look, she seems to fit a library perfectly. Ah, Lily, did you get my message? Message? Oh, the 2 imported books that arrived? Right, they finally came. I can't believe it took so long, but amidst her celebrations, partially for managing to change the topic, I'm sure, she noticed me from the corner of her eye and freezing on the spot when she does. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't notice you before. Did you need to check out a book or return one? I'm sorry. The way she can quickly shift between modes is a little unsettling. Yeah, like a little, just a U-turn. He's with me, Yuko. This is Hisao, a new student. Hisao, this is Yuko, the school librarian. Pleased to meet you. Hisao, right? Hisao. Pleased to meet you too, Hisao. For a second, she visibly attempts to engrave the name on her mind so she won't forget. I wish I could do that. Yuko often arranges to import foreign books for me, books in Braille for me. Would you like to tell Hisao a little something about the library? Lily's innocent suggestion is met with an exasperation of abject terror. Please, Lily, I can't. I don't know what he could be interested in. This is too much responsibility. How is it any responsibility at all? I don't get, but her objection is so sincere. I don't doubt for a second that she would rather disembowel herself on the spot than tell me what the light novels are. Whoever wrote this, I love the way you phrase things. I don't know. I found the way you got to that conclusion very creative and well thought out. Probably one of my favorite lines already. And it's odd because it has disembowel in it. That's not a very common word you have in a sentence that becomes one of your favorites. But, so, there are lots of books in Braille here. I attempt to save the day by asking the first thing that pops into my head. Seems to work at least partially, as Yuko seems to not exactly relax, but at least looks slightly less tense. Well, I think about the third or fourth of the Yamaku's library is either in Braille or audio. Makes sense, given all the blind students that'd be here. If it's only that, how come this library is so big in the first place? Well, you get a lot of new books regularly because the library is adequately endowed. That's probably why. I spend more on new books than on my salary. I think I have to organize the shelves of all of them. It's so troublesome that they weigh so much. I wish I could quit this job. Aww. A very awkward silence follows this revelation of too much information. I'll go check the aisles then, if you don't mind. It's probably for the best of all of us if she doesn't keep talking to me. Very well. Meanwhile, Yuko, I would like to have those books if it's alright with you. My first impression was right. The library is surprisingly big. Ambling down the narrow aisleways, I studied the spines of the books in random order, occasionally sliding one out to read, then read the blurb, taking it with me if it looks good. In a few moments, I have a respectable stack of books in my arms. Guess I'll never be stuck for a choice here. The normality of the library sinks in. Sure, there are large print and Braille books scattered throughout, but that's what it is, a library. It's as if a calm mood from the room I had with tea with Lily has snuck in here with us, unless it was here to begin with. Something about this puts me at ease, just like before. I reach the end of the aisle and find a collection of desks set up for studying or personal reading. Going a little further, though, I discover a nice quiet corner at the back. While the rest of the library has all its students sitting at desks, either reading or stealthily sleeping. At this point of the day, would you really need to be stealthily sleeping, though? Anyway, the back is pretty much deserted. As I glance around, I see someone who I recognize sitting at one of the several bean bags. Oh, hello. It's the dark-haired girl of my class, the one who snuck out of the classroom earlier. She's reading a book, keeping it close to her face, and makes her look like she's really into it. Let me see, what is that? This is the showing image. I wonder if she's going to hop like a rabbit and just skedaddle, or if we're actually going to be able to talk to her. Interesting. Because like I said before, she's fascinating. I kind of want to know more about her, because she's definitely the game's been very poignant to point out her and her oddities. So it makes me want to get to know what she's all about. And the way she's acted today, I had her pegged as one of the more delinquent than the bookworm. In fact, her mysterious disappearance from class raises all sorts of whys in my head. I don't think she's a delinquent. I think she might be extraordinarily introverted and possibly, depending on what happened to her, she might have lingering effects of stress, mistrust, PTSD, if it was a traumatic event of some kind. Could lead to her just needing to escape if things are getting loud or overcrowded, and if she's already extra sensitive anyway because of her personality, that could compile into somebody who just genuinely can't handle crowds for very long and would just flee just because she just couldn't handle, being in a classroom, not even talking, could be not stressful enough for someone like that. Alright, anyway, intrigue floats slowly but surely towards the surface, and before I know it, I'm walking toward the mysterious long-haired girl. I guess there's no harm in introducing myself as I would anyone else. She's a classmate after all. Just be careful. She's jumpy, or she seems jumpy. Don't make any loud noises suddenly. Walking over to another beanbag, I take a seat and lay my books beside it. The girl starts, looking startled up at me from underneath the fringe. This is the first time I've seen her up this close. Underneath her long, dense bangs, I can see that part of her face, at least a third of it, if not half, is pretty badly scarred. My eyes are immediately drawn to the scars, subconsciously peeking past her hair until they meet her own eyes. Yeah, you see, that's the problem, though. It's like, it's kind of, it's one of those unfortunate inevitabilities of having a physical disability or a dismemberment or what's it called? Not dismemberment, disfigurement of any kind. Is that people look at it and you hate that they do, but at the same time, I don't know. Oh, ooh, that reminds me. There's actually a really good anime that doesn't quite talk about this subject, but it does a parallelism that is interesting. I think it's Interviews with Monster Girls. It came out last year or the year before, maybe. Fantastic series if you haven't watched it. The whole focus of it is about like living in a world where there are very fringe cases of people who have like magical like abilities that a lot of folk stories are based off of. Like there's a vampire, a snow queen, I can't ever say it right. It's Dualala, or the headless horseman type thing, and a succubus, who's a teacher. But these girls, like, they're pretty much normal people, but they have very unique and individualistic aspects of their lives that make them very, very different. Like the girl whose head can be separated from her body, obviously. She looks very, very strange for a lot of people. Vampire girl who really can't stand sunlight, and has like kind of like an addiction to like blood in general. And like these things that are just like, they alter them and they make them odd. And like I talked about in that series, how like there's people who are like sometimes you can overcorrect when you are trying to be particular about subject. Like that somebody's going through something that's different than you. Obviously, you don't want to be mean or single them out because of it, but if you ignore it, that also kind of puts up a wall. Like it talked about in one of those episodes, how the girls in the class with the headless horseman girl, she talked about how frustrating it was because she never felt like she actually made any real friends. There were plenty of girls who would come up and talk with her and spend time with her, but they never asked her what it was like to be her. Like they never asked like what made her life different or some of the challenges she faced. They just kind of treated her like anybody else, but they were blatantly ignoring something that she knew they were very much aware of, and that also became a bother. And so I think that's a good rule of thumb for anything, like talking to her, like staring and then never asking about something like this, I think is very damaging in the long run. Granted, you shouldn't open up your first dialogue with someone with like, hey, what happened to your face? But maybe if you start to get to know her and like you start actually having a dialogue with her, that's when I would be like, so, I don't know how I would broach this subject, but like I feel like that when the time was right, like you shouldn't have to be afraid of asking, because I think that being able to share what it's like from your perspective is a lot different than just saying like, whoa, what happened to you? That's weird. You know, do you get what I mean? Anyway. Moving on, because that's a long rant. My eyes are immediately drawn to the scars, subconsciously peeking through the hair. For a second, I am shocked. I divert my eyes to the book in her hands before I realize that I'm looking away probably only makes it worse. It takes too many seconds to collect myself, remember what I walked up to her for. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you, or hi, I'm new here. See, I think that's friendly, but it's a little too forward. I think it'd be better to apologize and let her know that I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. Or what, I don't know. Yeah, I think I'll do the top one. Sorry, didn't mean to startle you. It's okay. The girl certainly doesn't look like it's okay, but I let it slide. So, do you mind if I sit here? She seems very uncertain of whether it's okay or not for me to sit, but finally she just nods, just a little. Oh, okay. I take the seat next to her. She hides herself behind her book. Life of Pi. Never heard of it. Thanks to the movie, I've heard of it. So, sorry again for startling you. I'm Hisao. She looks up from her book, stalling a little before replying. I know. I know. We are in the same class. Her speech is stilted and so quiet that it's barely audible even in the still library. Somehow I think that my delinquent impression of her was wrong. Hanako. I'm Hanako. I resist the urge to say, that's a nice name, just to have something to say, but really, it's the only thing I can think of. I feel like an idiot. Everyone here must be used to being different to each other, and now here I am being all bothered and fussy about that kind of thing. Don't let me interrupt your reading. I'll just check out these books if you don't mind. She nods a little and sighs a little sigh of relief. Yeah, see, I was gonna say, I think that what he should do at this point is stop engaging her. Just quietly sit down and read. Let her get used to you before you can approach someone who's this shy. Like, not that you can't approach her, but like forcing yourself in front of her and being very like open and loud and that's a terrible way to approach somebody who's like this kind of closed, because it's funny because like some people genuinely just don't want a ton of people in their life. Some people genuinely are introverts, and it doesn't have to be involved with some kind of trauma. Like, you could just not want to be around a lot of people. And for introverts, and I'm kind of an introvert. I'm not severe, but I'm definitely more introverted than extroverted. And to that end, I don't have a lot of friends. Not because I couldn't have more friends, but because I just don't want to have more friends. I'm fine with having like 4, 5, 6 like people I can call friends and generally will rely upon and want to spend a lot of time with. And that's perfectly fine with me. I wouldn't even want to have like, or try to be a popular person. Like, that just makes no sense to me. I do not want it at all. So I can I can empathize with her a little bit, but she's definitely an extreme. Although I have known people who are a lot more like her than they are like me. So I try to read the covers and introductions to the books I'd picked, and she buries her face in her book. Uncomfortable silence consumes us. My eyes still wander in her direction. I sneak peeks at her flowing hair and the scars it's hiding. See, here's the thing though. It might be uncomfortable for you. I don't think it's uncomfortable for her. After a while, I realize that she's doing the same and only pretending to be immersed in life of Pi. Aww. It's kind of cute. Her gaze is not inquisitive at all though. She darts around like a scared rabbit. When our gaze finally meets, the chain reaction is unstoppable. Oh, she stands up forcefully from the beanbag and takes a deep breath. I'm really gonna do something. Without warning, Hasako takes off and runs towards the counter. Hanako. I said Hasako. I don't know who that's supposed to be. Hanako. Oh man, yeah. I think just even us being next to her was so stressful. I feel bad. Her hair-like takeoff catches me so off guard that I don't manage to go after her until she's gotten a good head start. Why are you going after her? By the time I reach the counter, she's nowhere to be seen. Lily and Yuko are happily chatting away. Knowing that I won't be able to catch Hanako myself, I approach the girls. Hey, did you notice a girl run past here? Maybe. What did she look like? Long dark hair, kind of shy. She had, some scars on her face. You wouldn't be talking about Hanako, would you? Yeah, that's her. I saw her reading and tried to talk to her, but I think I scared her off or something. Oh dear. Yuko, would you excuse me? I'd better try to find her. Sure, I'll just hold on to these until you come back. What's going on? I'm sorry, but I'll have to explain it to you some other time. Right, I'll see you later then. Lily hastily grabs her cane and hurries out of the library, leaving me alone with Yuko. I don't think I'll ever get the hang of this place. Did I do something wrong? What did you do? Nothing. I was just looking for some books and she got this fit and ran off. The most offending thing I think was that I might have looked at her general direction a few times. Well, she is a very timid girl. You have to be very careful around her. She can be very jumpy, I think, and she's not accustomed to talking with other people. Isn't that a bit strange? Oh. Do we really have to explain this to you? Isao, what are you talking? Yeah, you're in a school full of people who are strange. Heck, every school is full of people who are strange. You're strange. Good grief, dude. I wonder. It's just how she is, I think. Yuko doesn't sound all that convincing. And again, maybe this is just a norm around her. Here. Everyone has their own problems, or else they wouldn't be here. But how should I deal with these people? Forcing myself to act overtly casual only makes me feel phony. Like I was supposed to be ignoring the elephant in the room? Yuko fidgets, looking like she wants to say something to that, but resists it. I think it's an elephant only if you feel that way. I guess she doesn't have a good sense of self-restraint. Makes me smile. She blushes heavily. Oh, what? Did that sound stupid? No, it sounded really wise. Guess you're right. It's more about me than anyone else. Neither of us have anything to add, so Yuko fills the silence by shuffling some papers around. She likes to do that a lot. People who have no papers on their desk really like doing that. I don't know. I don't. Actually, they tend to not move, and they need to move, but I don't let them move, so I wouldn't be a good librarian, apparently. Did you find any books? I should be closing soon. I mean, the library should be closing, but I have to do it. I hope that's not too inconvenient for you. Oh, yeah, I want some books, but I left them over there because I'll just go get them. I fetched my stack of books from beside the beanbags where Hanako and I were sitting and returned to the counter. Wow, you read a lot, don't you? I surprised myself at that too, honestly, at least when I really think about it. I had a lot of free time earlier this year, so I just kind of started reading books to fill that time. Couldn't do much else. I see. But she doesn't say anything else, she just checks my books out for me. I guess that's what they call tact. Holding the library books in one arm, I trawl my pocket for the key to the door. The sudden sound behind me startles me, making me nearly drop the books I'm carrying or the key, and I almost managed to get them to the lock. What's his name? It's Glasses Kid. Kenji? Is it Kenji? Who is it? Yeah, there he is. I think it's Kenji's his name. Yes, I remembered his name. Turn around to see who's talking to me. It's Kenji. Seems to be in a friendly mood. A little light glinting off his glasses in the dark gives him a sinister look. It's just me. That makes him pause and lick his lips nervously. Who is me? I don't know anyone named me. Are you some new guy again? His voice suddenly strained and quick. Yes, but we met before. Yesterday. I don't think so. I don't remember someone who I only met yesterday. When was that? What day is it today? I tried to ignore him. Is he joking or what? Prove that we were met before. You live across the hall. You're Kenji. Kenji jumped back, his eyes filled with an uncomprehending fear. Oh man, look at that face. How did you know my name? Dang, that can only mean one of two things. Either we have met, or you're telling me the truth, I just can't remember it, or you're a spy. He pauses. A psychic spy. His eyes out around me, trying to peek into my room, although it's hard to believe that he can see anything through those thick glasses. Here's the thing. He's hilarious here, but if you were an actual neighbor, he could be quite startling. His mood swings from friendly to maniac in less than a minute. I'm not psychic. How do you know that? I'm not a mind reader. Kenji punched a finger at my face damningly. Unlike you! Stop that, man. We met yesterday. What's wrong with you? I live in this room. Nice. If you think you can pass this house because I'm legally blind, you're sorely mistaken. You don't even look like him. I mean, the resemblance is real slim. Maybe a distance, but who do you think I'm kidding? I went to grab him by the shoulders to shake him. Exasperated, I rubbed my eyes and let out a heavy sigh. Stay there. Kenji comes closer, careful step at a time. I stay still. At least he assault me physically, although I doubt he could do much damage even if he did. Oh, wait! I see now. Dang, it is Ryoyu. Sighing again, and then once again for good measure. I step backward just in case. What's up, man? You don't look too good, I think. Something wrong? I don't know. I just had something stupid happen to me. A few stupid things, actually, even if you discount this one. I can't get a proper touch with the people here. I have no idea if it's because of me or because of them. I don't know why I'm telling this to Kenji. It's not like we have any contact either. That's rough, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry about calling you a psychic spy and all, but you can never be too careful. It's the hard reality we live in. I'm slowly starting to think Kenji isn't necessarily living in the same reality as the rest of us. You see, this is how it works. This is how it is, this world. There's no justice, you see. Even when I lose, I win, because I don't lose the lesson. What does that even mean? It doesn't matter. He just missed it flatly with a wave of his hand. So what happened? Why the long face? Do you have a long face? It's nothing. I just scared some girl off accidentally. Literally, too. She actually ran away from me. It was my fault, really, I think. I'm not really used to all this. A girl. A cute one. Cute. That's a hard question. She has a nice body, really beautiful hair, but the face... I guess it could go either way. I think she was cute. I mean, I feel get a bit like I said, like she's gotta go like a bunny, and like, yeah, she was cute. Yeah, cute, I guess. I knew it. There are a lot of cute girls here. It strains a disproportionate amount. I believe this is one of the dark secrets of the school. Oh, fetch, he knows he's in a video game. I tried to warn you, man, but did you listen? I don't remember any such warning. Dark secrets? Yes, dark secrets. Extremely dark, like a black hole. Have you noticed that the number of girls in the school is slightly but significantly higher than the number of boys? It's like 60-40. He turned his head to the left and stares off into the distance at nothing. Why is it like this? I mean, to the untrained eye, it doesn't appear to be that bad, but it's full of 20%. One would think the school with such a huge pool of women would be a man's dream, but no! What I'm about to tell you could blow your mind. Are you ready? I don't know where this is going, but I think I won't be missing much by cutting it out now. No, I am not ready. I only get as far as turning the doorknob before Kenji starts talking again, showing that he doesn't really care if my mind is blown or not. I believe that this school is a battleground, the site of a feminist infiltration. This disparity in the number of men to women is a clear sign of how far they've come. In the case the Cold War turns hot, then you'll have superiority in numbers. Just another skirmish in the entire war against the forces of the feminists. They're everywhere. Japan, women outnumber men. It's not just 60-40 split, but it's only a matter of time, man. Even in America, women are a majority by hair. They're building up their numbers. In the past, the buildup of a military has always been seen as a clear sign of imminent war. That distinction, at least of theirs, can easily be attributed to the fact that women tend to live longer than men, at least in America. Japan is just the first step. Our economy is bad. The country itself is small and isolated, yet a huge part of the Pacific in terms of political value. That's very true, actually. The perfect target. They're so cunning, as expected of women. Soon enough the day will come when... What is this kid? Good grief. Kenji's voice trails off ominously. This guy would fit in on... What's that show called? Like the Alex Jones' show? Like, he could only be a guest star on that show. He'd just throw out all of the propaganda and all the weird, like, conspiracies. That's why you can't trust them. They will string you along and then kill you, just as they killed me. You'll end up just like me. What, you died? Oh, heck no. I can't stop myself from blurting it out. Hey, what the heck does that mean? You said it, not me. It's the best I could think of. So, you're not supposed to say something like that? Darn, so rude. Where was I? Oh yes, vast feminine conspiracy. Stop. I lost you way back there somewhere around feminist infiltration. Too hard to follow? That's cool. I have some graphs and stuff in my room. And puppets. You like puppets? I kind of like voicing him. No puppets. You don't like puppets? Okay, graphs are so cool though, right? He speaks energetically, responding almost before I'm done talking, moving his hands in an animated way as he continues to rant on. This is too strange. I had him pegged as a relatively normal, but it was clear I was wrong. Something on your mind, dude? Just thinking about what it's like to be the last sane man in an insane world. Kenji frowns, looking deeply upset. You mean that's you? It can't be, because that's the last sane man in this insane world. That's my dream. You can't just steal a man's dream. What the heck's it getting to be two sane men? That invalidated the whole last part, and the part's kind of important. There can only be one. Like that foreign movie where there could only be one. And in the end, there was only one dude left, because that was the point. I've never seen anyone talk so heatedly and so defensively about absolutely nothing before. Anyway, if you wait here, I can get my graphs. I also have a list of the other dark and complex conspiracies the school hides, as tangled as... Quick, finish my analog for me. Be a pal. He wants us to finish his talk. I'm gonna go to bed now. It's extremely late. That doesn't sound like an analogy, but whatever. I like you. Seem like a cool dude. Most people don't understand what I'm talking about, and I try to explain the past feminist conspiracy to them. Denial is a terrible thing. Later. He clapped me on the back and vanished into his room so quickly and quietly, it's like he didn't even open the door, but instead walked right through it like a ghost. I don't know if I can fully digest what just happened, so I gave up and just went to my room, kicking off my shoes before falling face first into bed. It takes me some time to relax and get up, and so I get started on homework. It's because the sheets are cool and comforting against my cheeks. It feels good just lying there with my eyes open. The school's like some kind of bizarre and surreal island. It's isolated on top of a mountain, and each person is stranger than the last. I just can't seem to fit in. What irony. One would think that fitting in a place like made for people who are unfit or anywhere else would be easy. Maybe I'm just trying too hard. Although I say that, it doesn't help take the edge off, and the words are left echoing off the empty walls. Guess it's not as bad as I expected, though. This place really is more of a school and less of a hospital pretending that it's a school than I thought it would be. If nothing else, the scenery is beautiful. I opened one eye, seeing the school books and bottles of pills arranged side by side on my desktop. Maybe this place is too much like a normal school after all. Oh, that was interesting. Kenji, man. Kenji's gonna be an interesting nut to crack. I felt very tired this morning, probably because yesterday itself was a very tiring day. On top of that, I woke up far earlier than necessary. After saying hi to Shizune and Misha, I started doing work as instructor from the board. It already looks like today's going to be a heavy. I don't have a problem with that now, though. Shizune and Misha might jump me at trying to get the answer about whether or not I decide to join the student council, even if it's just one day. I wouldn't put it past them to try, and I don't have an answer for them if they do, so this situation is convenient for me. About 10 minutes into class, Hanako walks in and takes a seat, but no one looks at her. The teacher doesn't even comment on her lateness. He does, however, stop us to say that we're going to break into groups again. I turn my head to see Shizune and Misha already looking at me. Shizune gives me a smile that's equal parts cute and menacing. Of course she does. This is the smile that says, "We have you now. We have you now. There's no escape." Hee-chan! It looks like we're together again. Yay, yay! Misha leans sideways while Shizune pushes her desk closer to mine. There really is no escape now unless I were to jump through the window. Jumping out the window isn't the best option, sadly. What's wrong, Hee-chan? Oh, Hee-chan. Have you been thinking about what we said yesterday? You said that you would think about joining the student council, didn't you? It's okay, Hee-chan. We're talking about it after you left, and it would be rude to expect you to already have an answer for us this early, right? Right? I'm so happy you two are able to have a laugh at my expense, even more pleased to know that you both know how crazy the two of you can be. Now that's over, Shizune snaps back into serious mode and smacks today's assignment with the back of her hand in an overly dramatic and important way. When I actually look at the stuff, it's mostly just reading. In fact, there's only 2 problems. I almost want to say something about how her rush to get started seems a bit much considering the small amount of work. In fact, Shizune probably knows how little there is and simply doesn't care. Yeah, it seems like the workload doesn't matter to her as much as the fact that there is work. An actual amount is unimportant. She approaches everything with the same level of ambition. Oh, while I'm reading, I let my eyes wander around the room and catch Hanako trying her hand at solving the problem. Looks like she's working alone. Can't remember seeing her working with other people before. Thinking back to how shy she is, it's understandable. Hey, that girl over there. Huh? Who's Hee-chan? Her, Hanako, over there. Does she always work alone? I think so, Hee-chan. Do you feel sorry for her because she's alone? I was just thinking maybe she could work with us or something. No, I don't think that'd be a good idea, Hee-chan. Why not? Shi-chan wouldn't get along with her. Why? Misha shuffles around the question, letting out a laugh that sounds very strange. It's nervous, but still, she has a lifting up and down quality present in everything she says. Dude, it's pretty clear and obvious. She's super, super shy. She finds just sitting next to somebody who's a little too close overwhelming. She may not talk, but Shizune is intense. She's a fiery person. It's the exact type of person that would literally be her worst nightmare. Yeah, no, those two could not get along. I don't think they'd actually butt heads because she's way too passive. But yeah, no, it wouldn't make sense. Just because, Hee-chan. By now, Shizune has noticed our conversation, and it makes me realize again how Misha has been signing everything she's been saying this whole time. What, Shi-chan? The friend of my enemy is my enemy? That sounds harsh. I'm not going to say that. You said it anyway. The friend of my enemy. She's the friend of what enemy, though? I know, Hee-chan. It's fine if you overhear. I wonder if this is Misha's way of keeping things fair, since without her, I wouldn't be able to understand anything Shizune is saying, and vice versa. Is that also why she signs all the time? So there's never a conversation Shizune will be left out of? It's very considerate. Misha is kind of a saint. I was thinking about this. Like, I could definitely see, for me, I don't think her personality would mesh very well. I would have trouble. Like, I mean, she's fine. I could be friendly with her, but I could never feel like I don't think I'd ever be that close to her. But she's working so hard to make sure that Shizune can be a part of the conversation. And that's really cool. Like, really, really cool and charitable. I almost wonder, why is she here? Like, maybe she came to the school with Shizune as her friend to help support her. She might not have anything actually wrong with her. She could be so incredibly selfless to do that. And like, while like her personality might be something that I personally would probably have some issues with, like butting heads wise, or just like, I guess need a break from you for a little bit kind of wise. But I gotta admire the fact that like even if I'm wrong about my guesses, the things I see her doing are impressive. Anyway, we should start the problems now, Hee-chan. We finished with time to spare, and I decided to ask if there are any alternatives to the cafeteria, as frankly, the food so far has been subpar. This sends Suzune and Misha arguing amongst themselves about their favorite restaurants. All of them are downtown, so I don't think we have time to go all the way there. And what about the bill? Are they arguing just for the fun of it? Maybe. They seem so distracted by it, they don't even notice the start of the actual lunch break. I look over my shoulder towards the back of the classroom. She seems to be studying her notes from the previous class. It's an odd sight. Everyone else in class is busying themselves with lunch break. Socializing, gossiping, rearranging desks. The ones with actual boxed lunches mixed in and chattering like everyone else, only interrupted by short bouts of eating. But when I watch Hanako, it feels like I'm the only one who can see her, almost as if she's invisible, sort of hiding in plain sight. Is she being bullied? Is she isolating herself from the rest of the class on her own accord? The latter. I see her look over her shoulder towards the classroom's rear door. Come to think of it, she hasn't turned a page since I started watching her. I guess she's waiting for someone, or she's waiting for you to look away. What to do? Honestly, okay, here's the thing. I want to support Hanako. I want to talk to her if I could, but I actually don't think that's a good idea. I think that if just politely sitting next to her was overwhelming, approaching her in class would be a terrible idea. So here's what I think I would do. If I really wanted to get to know her better and try and like help her feel more comfortable with me, I mean, we already know we share a love of books. So what I would do is I would possibly like find a book that I really, really like maybe a personal favorite. So for instance, for me, it might be like Mistborn. I would then take the book and I would leave a note on top of it saying like, Hanako, I know we both like books. I wanted to share my favorite one. If you ever want to talk about it, let me know. And then stick it on her desk and like let her find it. You know, don't have to approach her. No communication necessary, but you can start a connection. So I'm going to read my book. I think she's cool, and I do want to get to know her better personally. I think I'm sure she's got an interesting story, and like she seems very, very, just, I don't know. Like I said, I'm introverted, so I could see myself connecting with someone who's introverted very well. But I don't think the right option is going up and talking to her. So I'm going to read a book. I do what I always do when I don't know what to do. Like now. Before I started off one of the books I borrowed yesterday and took with me to school to fill the empty moments between classes. I find the page that creased a corner to mark the spot I left off last night and pick it up from there. So, like, from a game perspective, I bet you that was a mistake if I wanted to pursue, like, that route. But that's the thing. It's like, I love playing these games without thinking about the mechanics of it too much. It's a hindsight thought, but just, I'm gonna go with it because I think recommending her a book would be the way that I would want to break the ice with her. Misha and Suzune are still arguing heatedly, probably about restaurants still. If I join them, I just get caught up in that, or worse, get grilled about joining the student council. Misha isn't speaking aloud since there's nobody who'd need to hear what they are talking about. But why does she tend to sign things even when Shizune doesn't need to understand what's being said, or even more strangely, when Shizune is not around at all? What an odd conflict of habits. I'm sure it's just habit. I find it hard to focus on the book, and besides, the lunch break beckons me to leave the dullness of the classroom. I do so, heading down to the cafeteria. Misha and Suzune have come to a conclusion of one kind or another, following my wake, though still talking in their animated fashion. Just around the corner, it's that picture again. Just around the corner of the hallway, something hits me in the chest with the force of a runaway train. Ouch! Oh, hello. Opening my eyes, I see a pair of saucer-like green eyes looking up at me. Looking up at me? I thought she hit me. Wouldn't I be on the ground? Oh, okay. They belong to the perpetrator, a short girl who bumped into me and has fallen down on the hallway floor. She wears a PE uniform and a very worried frown. The former strikes me as a rather strange thing to have on during lunch break. More striking than that, though, is that she doesn't have legs. Well, at least lower parts. Or she does, but they're not flesh and bone. Her pale and very much fresh flesh-to-bone thighs end in shins and feet made of some kind of black metal or plastic-like material. They're actually pretty cool. Like, it's like, we still have a long way to go with prosthetics, but man, we've done some pretty incredible like advances in the past 10 years. They look disturbingly artificial and unnatural. Almost makes you forget that the chest is hurting. My chest is hurting. The girl winces a little, rubs her nose, and jumps up. Twin Tails girl. Oh, she's cute. Aw, man. Hey, are you alright? I'm sorry about that, really. No, I don't like that voice. I was using that voice before. God, I'm trying to think of other ones I could do without going too high pitch or too low pitch. I think there's something similar to it. I'm trying to think of other characters I've voiced in the past and like trying to compare it to them. So, I think I know what I'll go with. I wasn't looking where I was going, and you just came out of nowhere. Sorry. She wasn't looking really apologetic. The hurt puppy way of looking apologetic. I quickly forget about being angry or anything, since hurt puppies are my weak spot. It's okay, don't worry about it. Ow. Oh wait, chest. Ooh, that could be bad. Uh-oh. I say that. There's a stinging pain growing in my chest, and I know that this is about the biggest possible danger for my condition. Don't overexert yourself, don't forget your medication, and most of all, don't get hit in the chest. I try to rub my solar plexus to chase the pain away, holding my breath in an attempt to hear my heartbeat. Uh-oh. Twin Tail girl, could you possibly go get help? It seems normal. Hey, should I get the nurse? A worried high-pitched voice. Oh, high-pitched voice. Okay, maybe I should just do that then. Oh, the girl snaps me out of it. I stare at her for a few seconds dumbfounded until I realized that I probably looked worse off than I really was, doubled over myself and looking all tense. Dang, I'm overly worried about my heart. No need, I'm fine. Managing to say something irresponsible, pull myself upright, feeling my sore ribs one last time, and take a deep breath. She just knocked the wind out of me, big time, but it's nothing more than that. You sure you're okay? I hit you pretty hard. It's okay, I said I was fine, and nothing's broken, no harm done. That's good, I feel a hand on my shoulder at the same time, the girl's eyes widen in horror. Wait, could I see the backlog? Yeah, I didn't click, it just went. Or eyes in horror, and whatever she was saying gets interrupted by a very horrified eep. Okay, so sorry about that. I don't know why. I literally didn't click at all. Oh, I don't have time to look behind me because Shizune is already shoving me aside and stomping over to the girl, signing furiously at her. Miss I'm gonna say this again. Okay, Ibarazaki. Miss Ibarazaki, I saw that. Running in the halls is strictly forbidden. Misa translates right over Shizune's tail, but her voice is girlishly playful and not full of the divine fury that Shizune's arm movements would seem to call for. Sorry, I was just going to get some stuff. I was in kind of a hurry. You've been told this 1,000 times before. Your reckless behavior endangers other students, and even worse, it's explicitly against the school regulations. The girl blushes and starts to fidget nervously, like a little child caught misbehaving. My foot itches. Why? It's so cute, I find myself smiling. Aww. See, okay, so far, he seems like he's most, like, falling for her. I know that. I was just... Make sure this does not happen again, although I'm sure telling you this is futile. It only causes me further heartache when you choose to ignore the regulations. Got that, Emmy? The small girl sticks out her tongue in response. I gotta go! Teachers will have my head. I promised I help with printouts, but I went running instead. Sorry, I gotta change everything. Before Misha and Suzune can say anything, she's already bolted from where she was a second ago, almost halfway towards the stairwell. Suzune looks like she's about to go nuclear on the spot, so I smile at her in a vain attempt to calm her down. Are you okay, Ii-chan? Ibarazaki girl is always like that, causing trouble to others. You know, I'm pretty certain Shizune wouldn't call me Hee-chan. Never mind. Yeah, anyway, I'm okay. Just got the wind knocked out of me. That's great, Hee-chan. I wouldn't call it great, but I'll let it slide this one time. Well, they don't know your condition. We have to run now. There's an important student council meeting regarding the festival. We finally decided where to eat. Too bad you can't join, but the lunch meeting is only for 4 council members. We can take you there some other time. Whoa, but that would be like a date, wouldn't it? The girls leave for downstairs. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, if you were to date one of those girls, aren't you essentially dating the other one too? It didn't manage to get far from the third floor hallway before all this commotion struck. Literally, I should get going as well. The lunch and afternoon classes passed uneventfully. I read most of the book I'd started yesterday and eat some of the mostly inedible offerings of the cafeteria. The class is tiresome. The teacher seems to be an okay person despite the weird first impression I got, and the material is relatively interesting. However, the way he teaches is really bizarre. It's as if he expects that everyone is a natural genius. When the bingo bell rings, I realize that there's still a lot of time left in the day, and I'm left wondering what to do. It's odd. At the hospital, I had 24 hours a day of free time, but here filling the considerably shorter hours feels difficult. Everyone else leaves, and I'm left alone with the teacher. Muto is examining the assignment sheets we were working on earlier, marking them with a red ball pen. Raising his eyes from his paper briefly, he notices me and furrows his brow. What is it, Nakai? I jump at him addressing me, but I guess it's natural to spark some conversation since there's nobody else around. Nothing. Thinking about what I'll do after school. The teacher slowly puts a cap on the pen he's holding and arranges his papers into a stack, collecting them against the desk twice. He seems very methodical. For a brief moment I'm reminded of Shizune, but the teacher is more unhurried and relaxed and much more routine. You have no plans? No, I considered joining a club, but didn't know what kind of club would interest me. Go observe a meeting of someone else's club. Might pique your interest. I guess. But I don't know how to continue from there. Natao looks like at me in a way that makes me quite quickly want to take the words back to avoid conversation. But I can't, so I have to forge ahead. I just don't know how to deal with people. I mean, the other students. I'm talking to people and everything, so it's not that I'd be isolated or anything. I just don't know what to think about the disabilities. It's like, I feel like I'm being impolite if I pay attention to them, and it's weird to ignore them. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. The teacher scratches his cheek absent-mindedly, looking very unresponsive. These things are only an issue if you make them one. You can talk normally with someone even if they're blind or something. Try to look behind the superficial. There's not a single student here who isn't just a normal kid behind whatever they might seem at first glance. He says the same thing as Yuko did. I know they're right, but it's hard. How can you not consider, for example, Shizune's deafness when the only way to communicate with her is to talk to Misha? Or Hanako. It's not like you can ignore her face. But I'm interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open. Teacher! Misha crashes in, hands straight, in an enthusiastic greeting, her voice loud and lively enough to wake the dead from their graves. She starts toward the teacher's desk with a bounding step, hands energetically swinging with the rhythm. Muto, visibly dismayed at the interruption, and Misha in general, slumps in his chair. Mikado? Misha stops in her tracks and looks around cluelessly as if she's sensing from his tone that there's something wrong, but has no idea why. Yes? We have talked about the volume control before. Yes. But she doesn't lower her voice at all. The teacher just rubs his eyes. So, what is it? We need help. We're running out of supplies at the festival stands. This is distress. She waves a pink slip of paper she's holding around. So, go get more supplies from the art room. What's the problem with that? Plywood! Plywood's always the problem. Last time we wanted more and there was only a little, but that time we just took it all and went with that. Now there's none left there. So do you know where there is some? I don't understand. How would I know? Shi-chan. I mean, the president thought the teacher would know if there's a plywood. Was she wrong? Mattel looks like she's in great pain, frowning with entire essence, and Misha doesn't get it at all. Looking at the two of them communicates terrible, like looking at a man being tortured by drilling his skull open while blasting pop music at full volume at the same time. I'm afraid I have no idea if there's any plywood on the school, let alone where it would be if there was any. Ah, what should I do? Perhaps try to find Mr. Nomiya? I'm quite sure he would know where to find everything you need. You'd have to pry them from his cold, dead hands. That's a different matter. Ah, I don't have time. We're so busy. She holds her head with both her hands, looking as despairingly as possible for a person like her. Without even noticing, she crumples the notes she's holding against her hair. I shouldn't even be fetching these things. There's just so much to do and we're falling behind schedule. Until looks at her gravely and then suddenly smiles. Smiling doesn't fit his face. I think it's better if he didn't. I wonder if you could get some temporary help. Uh-oh. I think we're about to be volunteered. He switches to staring at me focusedly, with a hard expression, as if to try and say, go make some friends. I guess I can give you a hand. You can? Thanks, Ichan. You're really nice. She pauses, does a double take, and then points at me with a finger, yelling, "Ah!" and looks very puzzled. Come to think of it, what's Ichan doing here? Class is over. You should be having fun. We just had a little chat. Oh no! It's not detention, is it? Are you in trouble, Ichan? No, I'm not. Is Ichan in trouble, teacher? No, he's not. Metal sighs deeply, and I feel like I have to help Misha to get her off the teacher's back. So, what do you need? Here's the list. I can try to find the plywood from someone that there's not in the art room. She offers me the note she's holding. I take it, hesitating a bit. I said I'd help you, but this has no implications on whether I'm going to join the council or not. Aww. Still, thanks, Ichan. Try to be quick. We're in a stall building streak now. We must hurry, hurry, hurry. She bounces out of the classroom, leaving me and the teacher looking at each other with something that feels like a silent agreement. Well, there you have it, okay? You've something to do now. Please don't sound so smug. Looking at the list with a number of items ranging from paint to plywood, all written with small, neat handwriting that is undoubtedly Suzune's, I heave a sigh. I'll be going then. Waving the long list limply at the teacher, I exit to the hallway. The classroom closest to ours is designated to belong to class 3-1 and 3-2 on the right side, 3-4 on the left side, each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms I don't even think were used for classes. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. I carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. You know what? I think we're going to have to end... I can go a little longer. It's a classroom, but rather badly kept and not in use. Am I in the right place? Desks and chairs all around the room, thin layer of dust settling on them. There are some easels in the corner, and so this at least looks like the right place. The room is flush in sunlight from the big windows, shadows creeping all over the desks. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beam of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody home? Something catches my eye and I stop mid-sentence. So that one auto went too. Like, is it... This, like, it's not on. I don't think it's on. I don't know. Oh. That is awesome! That's so freaking cool! Oh, man. Sitting on a desk is a short-haired girl curiously wearing a boy's uniform with a fork between her toes, a morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. This odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me back even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in the corner very still, but I still somehow took her as part of the furnishing or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in the headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I was staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering I didn't finish my sentence and tried to think of if I should. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello? The girl stuffs the fork into her mouth and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello? I was told to pick up some supplies from here? For the festival stalls, I think. Didn't think there'd be someone here. There isn't. That's why I came here too. Oh, sorry, microphone. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're here then? She raises her eyebrows as she's suspecting my observation was false. What? You are pretty observant. Yes, it does. Who are you? This girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Nakai, Haseo Nakai. I just transferred here on Monday. I'm Rin. Tezuka Rin. Rin Tezuka. I'm going to be calling her Rin Tosaka from here. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. Oh, that's good. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. I think it was a joke. I think it was a funny one. Kind of bothers me. Joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and what's appropriate and whether this girl is. She seems to have lost interest in me and is now gazing yearningly back at her food. Can I continue my lunch? If you don't mind. I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff and supplies are in the back. Go right ahead, but lunch? School's already over for the day. What word did you use then? There's no word for a meal you eat after lunch but before dinner, right? It bothers me so much too. But I don't really know what I should say. I don't know. Afternoon snack? Afternoon tea? I don't know. Mazel tov. You can call it whatever you want. I don't think you're supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. Just like a hobbit. But I'm hungry now, and my delicious box lunch will go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. Curry is delicious. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picked up the fork between her toes, and with at least as much impoliteness, she pointed straight at me. So, Nakai, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school. From outside you look fine. So what is your problem inside? I cut a full stop, opening my mouth but not getting any word out. Come on, man. She's being just forward. Oh, this is refreshing, actually. I can guess. I'm good at guessing. Better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer her question, or skirt around it somehow. I don't know what I would have done. I froze in front of the issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition, or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making an issue is a part of this social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. Can't relate to Shizune's circumstances or Lily's either. Naturally, when I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overtly contemplative look on her face. So far, Rin is acting the most like me, except that she obviously eats a lot of food. I might look it, but I actually don't eat a whole lot of food. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side. I don't think there's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be boringly ordinary, like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. I hope not. I hope they're not delicious. The problem must be in your pants. Okay, I like you, Rin. You're cool. This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement and her sheer lack of tact is what it was delivered with catches me completely off guard. I think I might be reeling back even physically as Rin's eyes widen in revelation and astonishment. So I was right! There's something wrong with your tackle, isn't it? Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit up the first thing that I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Arrhythmia. I said it. Well, I blurted it out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous. What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down. I forgive you. I just collect people, and a person with, that kind of problem would be really great. Collect people? Does she draw? People with different problems. Huh? So you, go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. With little left to say, Rin resumes her lunch. The conversation dies anyway, but I keep thinking about what she said. It's the first time that I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already or heard about it from someone else. Or didn't need to know about it, like every other student here so far. Should I have told the natural part of the introductions? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Hasao. I have a very serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us? What a disgusting thought. Or maybe this Tezuka girl has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk back to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens up to study Rin from the corner of my eye. Her hair is a burnt auburn, almost orange, and cropped short. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and the lack of arms make her look very thin, almost scrawny. She's not particularly pretty except for her murky green eyes, which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs, and even when she eats. I wouldn't say she's not pretty, but she's a drawing, so I can't judge too crazily. The distance and the shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them like deep wells. She moves her feet almost as deftly as a normal person would with her arms. However, I can see how this slight could discomfort people, especially while eating. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, at least. I hesitate to think with the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabinets and shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of the strange girl. So, do you always eat alone this late, or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors? Maybe you're the first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh. And that's all I can think of to say. Both of us fall silent again as Rin forks the last bit of her meal into her mouth. I look down at my haul, double check it with Misha's list. I seem to have everything except plywood. So, I think I have all the things now. That's very nice of you. Don't feel obligated to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you're going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping. Alright, so if someone's gonna call us a pervert, it's gonna be her. I'm not sure what that makes of this, but Rin looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll catch you around, Tezuka. You can call me Rin. I feel our relationship at this point is good enough to warrant this much. Wow. Like, achievement unlocked. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine, then I'm Hisao. There you are, there you are. Rin likes to be hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple times, and I can't figure out why a pause like that just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There's something like a tiny smile there in her face, maybe. I quietly back out of the room. As I shut the door in front of my face, I whispered to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that. What did she hear? Ah! I jumped at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching, despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow, she'd gone to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about the global feminist conspiracy, but I pushed that thought aside. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No, wait, more importantly, who is in there? There's no club meeting today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long, we had to come back and check what was wrong. That's not good, Hee-chan. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is missing because you were tardy. Oh, sorry, I got the things here. We just need to go bring them. I think you were up to some mischief, Hee-chan. Who is in there with you, I wonder? Misha signs something quickly to Shizune, pointing to her own ear a couple of times. Oh, there she goes. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door to the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she's experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders, from suppressed rage, I'm sure. She's a little bit too hot sometimes. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin's sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason for my tardiness. Hello? Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door and takes a few eye blinks, realizing she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello? Miss Tezuka, what do you think you're doing? You're absolutely not permitted to use the school property for such disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune and Misha's scolding as they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how's your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looked at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure, Suzune's cold stares putting it on her. I keep wondering about that myself, too. And? We'll think about it harder. She's so dismissive. As Misha signs her reply to Suzune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. Miss Tezuka, please take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if we look like someone threw up on their lunch onto it. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Suzune didn't, not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true, though. I must finish my project before the weekend. There'll be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I'm about to ask what project she has to do when these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back to the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting on and sleeping on. Lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need me to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off to the hallway with me. Me and the paint can following, since there's little choice for either of us. The hallway's quite empty now. Shizune and Misha are gone, so we leave two towards the stairwell, not the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps that I have to change the can from one hand to another, because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching, or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight. Seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai! What a happy coincidence! Tezuka too, of course. He nods courteously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back. He then turns to me, because obviously it's me who has some business with. There is something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively, because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about the interruption either. I would have set the can down by now. It's about your medications. Since we haven't it hasn't been that long on your current medications, there may be some unexpected side effects, which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. So we will do a few tests regularly. But what I'd want for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off. Do you get what I mean? Nausea, headache, anything. And come see me if something happens. Alright. So, how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can onto the floor before answering him. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here, patients, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, and not so much for a school. Except this school. It's a small school. Both the student base and the faculty seem to be getting very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. And this isn't the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track nor the pool, so I'd like to know if you've taken up exercising as I asked. Of course I haven't. It's a way of inquiring gives me a feeling that I shouldn't have been running my butt off at the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me? Not as such. I just happen to know a few people, but that's not an issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I picked up and lifted the can up and down a few times in some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down only my arm so painfully. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then goes back like it was never gone. Tezuka, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you were to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that your skills are you're still on your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down on this hard for you is the habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything like dieting. True. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? I know I should. Yeah, but I want to do other stuff too. Well, it can't hurt to try and do some jogging. Yeah, I promise. Definitely. He studied me for a moment, then shrugged, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you're going to school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation if you want to go for a jog for a bit. Consultation? See you around. He leaves us with a wave of his hand and no answer. I walk through Rin, who's been waiting, idly against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixture in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? Comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out at her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seemed to be happily ignorant about confidentiality too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, right? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin's just staring past my shoulder, quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there's some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're from my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a while longer. She neither says anything further nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the hospital it was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building and Rin leads us onward towards the dorm. Alright, I think we're going to actually end here, because I imagine we're going to have an interesting like experience with Rin, and I want to kind of focus more on that next time instead of stapling it on to the end of this. But there's a lot of good content that we had in here. A lot of good people we're meeting up with. I wonder if this is everybody by this point. But, because I have a feeling like Rin made a reference to her friend that she floats on the rooftop sometimes. I think it's the girl with without legs, because they talked about how she was really active and on the track or something. And I bet you that girl's also his little spy, the nurse's spy. But also there's kind of poetry to the girl without legs being best friends with the girl without arms. But that has nothing to do with it. Anyway, this is a good episode. Lots of good introductions of characters. We've got to meet. I'm gonna have to. Their names are gonna stick better and better as we go. But right off the top of my head, I'm having trouble with some of them. The girl with the long hair. I know I'll know as soon as I see it, but I can't quite think of it off the top of my head. But it's been a little while since we talked about her anyway. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed that. My thoughts about this series so far, especially, it's been really positive. I actually really look forward to this one, just because I'm really curious to see how it's all going to play out. Well, yeah, I look forward to everything I play, let's be honest. But I think this one in particular, I'm very much enjoying, and the writing is pretty good. I'd love to know if this group, well, they might have broken up since they made this game, but I'd love to know if any of them, particularly the writers, are doing anything else right now. It'd be very interesting. If you happen to know about any projects that the head writers for this series have done since this, send me a message on Discord or put it in the comments below. I'd love to know it, just because I'm curious what they've moved on to since this. But anyway, thank you guys so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel. As always, it's a pleasure having you. You guys make this channel so awesome and so fun. I look forward to all your comments. I look forward to seeing how excited you get as I go through different sections, and I can't wait to see what you guys think about the choices I made here. Of course, please hold off on the spoilers. But until the next video you're watching me, I'll have to see me in next. I'll see you there.